Airports can be a nightmare, a chaotic start to your trip with overpriced food, loud areas, and no place to truly relax. But what if you can skip all of that and start your journey in a calm space with free gourmet food and drinks and even spa treatments like massages and facials? The answer? Airport lounges. The best part? You don't need to fly first class or spend a fortune to experience them. You can get access for free even when flying basic economy. So in this video, I'm breaking down everything you need to know about airport lounges, the best ways to get in, and share the biggest mistakes to avoid so you can elevate every airport visit into the perfect start to your vacations. And that's how I've been elevating my travels over the last few years, actually looking forward to the airports and these amazing lounges. Not only are they an escape from the airport chaos, they have everything you need to either relax or be productive, from power outlets to reliable Wi-Fi, which come in really handy for long layovers or flight delays. Some lounges even offer amenities like showers for those long travel days to help you freshen up, nap areas that came in really handy when I wasn't feeling as well right before my flight, and even booking free 30-minute facials in those new lounges in New York, which I really want to visit. But not all lounges are the same, and they can vary a lot, but in my opinion fall into one of four major buckets. First up, you have a network of lounges that span pretty much every major airport around the world, covering over 1,500 locations. You've probably walked by one without even realizing it. And although this network is most accessible and widespread, the quality can vary dramatically, with lounges that barely fit 10 people, like when I tried to visit in Cancun, to large spaces that have big buffets and even showers. That's of course with the Priority Pass network. And here's a pro tip. Before heading to the airport, check which Priority Pass lounges are available there. Many airports have multiple of these, and you would much rather enjoy a larger space with some real food than settle for a cramped space at the edge of the terminal. Though what's special with Priority Pass access is that it could expand to more than just lounge spaces. Like in New York's JFK, where certain Priority Passes give you unique perks like spa services, think massages or nail treatment. Some airports have gaming lounges with food and drinks, and more recently, certain airports giving you access to express spas, zero-gravity massage lounger experiences. Personally, I haven't had the chance to experience these non-lounge benefits just yet, since my home airport SeaTac doesn't really offer them, but they are on my radar for whenever I travel to an airport that might. Still, one of the strengths of Priority Pass is their massive network, where even the smallest regional airports in Southeast Asia had one. So knowing that having this access will give you at least some sort of baseline lounge benefits virtually anywhere you travel to is quite amazing. Next, another network of lounges that in my opinion is a step up in quality compared to Priority Pass, and that's with the Plaza Premium network, which are a much smaller network at around 250 locations, but are similarly easy to get access into, not only because there's some overlap where some of these lounges are contracted into the Priority Pass network, but that many of the best ways to get lounge access, which we'll cover later in this video, will actually include both networks. From my experience, I quite like Plaza Premium lounges, especially overseas in Asia where lounges there are just on another level, like at the Singapore Blossoms Lounge and having a Laksa bar, or even domestically like in the renovated ones over in Vancouver. Alright, now let's talk about the more premium types of lounges, a significant step up from the other bigger networks. And that's lounges from the major credit card issuers, like with Chase Sapphire and Capital One lounges they've been pushing in recent years, and American Express with their Centurion lounges, which has pretty much been the gold standard in this category. With over 40 locations worldwide, these lounges stand out with their sleek designs, exceptional service, and noticeably better food and drinks. I've personally visited several, like in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and here in Seattle, which has unique touches like a smoothie and coffee bar, which serves some freshly made espresso drinks. It's a small but memorable addition that really elevates that experience. And spoiler, it's one of the big reasons why I still have this card right here. That said, with popularity comes overcrowding, which has been an issue for these lounges in previous years. To address this, Amex adjusted their policy, tightening the rules so they disallow guests unless you spend over $75,000 a year with their card, which has helped ease the crowds a bit. Then there's Chase with their Sapphire lounges, currently with 5 locations spread among Boston, Hong Kong, 2 in New York, and their latest one in Phoenix. What makes these lounges stand out is like in New York, where you can order dishes straight to your table, or that complimentary 30-minute facial treatment. I've been wanting to visit some of these lounges for a while now, but unfortunately, even though I am going to New York soon, I probably won't be routing through JFK, partly to avoid that traffic into Manhattan. They are opening new lounges in Vegas, Philadelphia, and San Diego, so maybe I can visit one of the closer ones whenever they open. And then there's Capital One with their growing network of lounges. Honestly, Capital One has been on fire lately with their travel game. After launching their Venture X card a few years ago, they've been expanding their lounges into cities like Dallas, Denver, and 2 in Washington, D.C. They're even adding lounges at LGA, JFK, and Vegas, directly competing with the other premium networks. I love how these lounges have some fresh and practical designs with some thoughtful features similar to their Capital One cafes. While I haven't had the chance to visit one yet, never been to Denver, Dallas, or Washington, D.C., I'm always keeping my eye out for opportunities. In my opinion, these credit card lounges really hit that perfect sweet spot. They're still relatively straightforward to get access to, but with amenities and quality that's a significant step up from those broader networks. And with all of these different issuers competing to outdo each other, the real winners are travelers like you and I. And then the fourth type of lounge, we have airline-specific lounges, which often include some of the nicest lounges in the world. Think the Turkish lounge with private suites that feel like pretty much hotel rooms, or Qatar Airways lounges featuring pretty much full-on restaurants. But the higher end the lounge, the more restrictive the access tends to be. And so even within a certain airline, there could be different tiers of lounges. Take United, for example. They have their standard United Club lounges, which has some snacks and some decent food, but then they have their more premium United Polaris lounges. I've had the chance to visit some of these in like SF and LA, and they're a completely different experience that includes buffets and a la carte dining where you can order off a menu. Some of them even have nap rooms you can book out for your longer travel days. Delta has a similar setup with their Sky Club lounges, which I've been wanting to visit here in Seattle, but earlier this year, they also introduced their Delta One lounge starting with JFK, which is a massive luxurious space with unique amenities like an on-site bakery. They've also expanded to Los Angeles with future cities like Boston, Salt Lake City, and Seattle, which will finally address the need for more premium lounge space here in SeaTac. Alright, now that we've explored the different types of lounges, let's talk about how to actually get in. First, and the most straightforward way to get into these lounges is to fly that first or business class. Many of these airlines pretty much automatically give you lounge access if you're flying these cabins, especially for long-haul flights. For example, when you're flying United Polaris business class or other international business class cabins on Star Alliance Airlines, like Air Canada or Singapore Airlines, gives you access to the United Polaris lounges, even when you're arriving at the airport, as long as you have that same-day boarding pass. On a recent return trip from Korea to SFO, that's exactly what I did, visiting the Polaris lounge on my layover while waiting for my delayed flight back up to Vancouver, enjoying that a la carte dining. All you needed was to find a lounge, scan your boarding pass, and you're in. The same goes for that new Delta One lounge, giving you access for people in that cabin, as well as their partner airlines' first and business class cabins. Or take Qatar's Al Safwa lounge, exclusively for first class travelers on Qatar or other One World Alliance airlines. And if you're worried about costs, you don't need to spend thousands of dollars on these tickets. You can book these premium cabins for just a couple $100s and points. A strategy I've used plenty of times in the last few years and cover in depth over in this video here. The next way to get access to lounges, achieve elite frequent flyer statuses. If you travel often, maybe for work, your loyalty to the airline might earn you special statuses that would come with lounge access. For example, American Airlines Advantage Platinum members and above can get Admirals Club access when flying internationally, even when going in economy. Similarly, Delta Sky Club Gold and above members can get access into the Delta Sky Clubs when you're flying in main cabin or above, which is not a premium cabin at all. And then here's a bonus tip of getting in: go as a guest. Many frequent flyer programs like these allow these members to bring a guest in. So if you know a frequent flyer, you might be able to tag along and experience these lounges for yourself too. Lounge access is just one of many rewards that airlines use to keep you loyal to their ecosystem. Now, if you don't fly premium cabins and don't have elite status, one of the most straightforward ways you can get in is by just paying for the entry fee. Not all lounges allow this, especially the higher end ones, but most of the ones in the middle do let you buy some sort of day pass. Tools like Lounge Buddy can help you find what lounges exist at your airports and which ones you can buy passes for, along with how much they cost. From my experience though, this method is rarely worth it. Mediocre lounges here in Seattle, for example, will cost you $50 per traveler, and ones that are a bit nicer like the Alaska ones will cost you $60 per traveler, and even then there are certain restrictions on who can actually buy them. And in that case, you're probably better off following my favorite way of lounge access, and probably the best way for most travelers, and that's going through certain credit cards. Tons of credit cards nowadays offer lounge access as part of their perks and benefits, often covering multiple networks as well. For example, my American Express Platinum card has been a go-to travel card for over 6 years now, giving me access to their over 40 Centurion lounges around the world, as well as Priority Pass and Plaza Premium networks for myself and 2 guests. It essentially covers me for pretty much every airport I visited. I also use the Capital One Venture X card, which would give me access to the Capital One lounges whenever I get the chance to visit one someday, unlimited guest access with Priority Pass lounges, which we've tested bringing 10 people in to the SkyTeam Lounge at YVR, and another Plaza Premium access, which is perfect for bigger groups where I can combine the perk with the one on my Amex Platinum card to bring in more people. While these type of cards usually have an annual fee, the perks and benefits on the right cards more than make up for it. The $395 annual fee Venture X card, well, you're getting like $400 of value spread among 2 credits every single year, which is more than enough to offset the fee already. The $695 Amex Platinum card, more than $1,000 of perks and benefits, mostly centered around travel, like the airline fee credit, hotel credit, or even Clear and Global Entry TSA pre-check credit, which enhances your airport experience even more. But I did promise a free way to get into these lounges, and for that I have for you the US Bank Altitude Connect card, which comes with 4 passes to Priority Pass lounges. So if you only travel a few times a year, or you want to dip your toes in and not have to pay to check out some of these lounges, it's a card to consider. And a pro tip, before choosing which lounge access method to go for, check which lounges are actually available at your home airport or airports you frequently visit. For example, SeaTac has the Centurion Lounge, which makes the Amex Platinum pretty much a no-brainer for me. But since there's no Chase Sapphire Lounge here, the Chase Sapphire Reserve wouldn't add much value. Tailor your choices to where you travel most. Alright, now that you know more about lounges and how to get in, let's cover some common mistakes you want to avoid that can cost you time, access, and money during your travels. First, yes, there are some amazing cards that give you lounge access, but make sure you understand the actual benefits. And don't forget to enroll. For example, with Priority Pass, you need to go through your credit card to either sign up for an account or link your account before you're able to use it. You can't go in with just a credit card alone. Second, what's the policy with the lounges? How many guests are allowed? For example, with Plaza Premium access, these cards allow 2. With Priority Pass, the Venture X gives you unlimited guests, and the Centurion lounges give you no guests unless you spend over $75,000 a year on one of their cards, like the Platinum. Also, know the timing rules. Some lounges restrict how early you can get in, typically around 3 hours before your time of departure. Third, know that lounges can actually limit your guests even if your card allows it. Sure, you might have the unlimited guest policy on your Venture X, but the lounges still have final say. Some lounges even require you to scan a certain QR code to join a waitlist, either at the door or on the app, like recently with the SeaTac Centurion Lounge. Fourth, don't forget that you can use some lounges on arrival too. This is often overlooked, but it's a great way to experience some nice lounges, unwind after a flight, shower, or grab a bite. It's what I did when visiting the Polaris Lounge when waiting in SFO for a layover flight, which made that wait so much more enjoyable. And fifth, assuming that all lounges are created equal, they're not. Some can be small spaces with snacks, some can have full-on buffets. Look up your airport ahead of time to see what lounges are available, then quickly scan through the pictures to choose which one might be best. Personally, I like to use the Amex app to see which lounges exist at the airports, along with all the rules so I can decide ahead of time. That said, some of the best lounges in the world require some special access, like flying in business class with some specific airlines. Fortunately, I've been able to experience some of these doing exactly that in the last few years, and without paying that price tag. The good news is you can do it too with just a couple $100s and credit card points. To learn how, check out this video for a complete breakdown, and I'll see you over there.